What if everything you've been told about your ADHD brain, that it's a disadvantage, is actually your single greatest asset for the future of work? For years, the rule book for success was written for a world that demanded quiet focus and methodical step-by-step work. If you have ADHD, you know exactly how frustrating that world can be. It's an endless struggle to fit into a box that was never designed for you. It's that constant feeling that you're the bottleneck, that your brain just isn't wired for the boring administrative parts of the job. But that entire rule book is being rewritten by artificial intelligence. The new economy doesn't favor the old way of doing things. It favors a brain that's wired for chaos, creativity, and seeing patterns no one else does. This is how you stop fighting your brain and start using it to win in our new AI-driven world. For decades, the path to a successful career was pretty clear. Follow instructions, execute tasks methodically, and prove your worth through rote memorization and discipline. This old industrial model rewarded the farmer brain, steady, predictable, and consistent. Well, that era is ending. The jobs that require methodical, repetitive work are precisely the ones being automated by AI. The World Economic Forum reports that analytical and creative thinking are now topping the list of in-demand skills, with things like resilience and flexibility not far behind. What does that actually mean? It means the world is finally shifting away from rewarding the skills the ADHD brain struggles with and is starting to place a massive premium on the very things we do best. The economy is getting more chaotic, more unpredictable, and a whole lot faster. It's becoming an environment where the hunter brain, the ADHD brain, doesn't just get by, it thrives. Research is even starting to reframe ADHD not as a deficit, but as an evolutionary edge for exploration and innovation in unstable environments. The world is finally becoming unstable enough that our brains are starting to look like a serious advantage. So let's get specific. Why does the ADHD brain suddenly look perfectly designed for the AI era? Because the very traits that used to feel like liabilities are becoming incredibly valuable in a world run by intelligent machines. First, there's rapid pattern recognition. People with ADHD often notice connections other people completely miss. Their brains jump between ideas fast, pulling together information that seems unrelated on the surface. In a world drowning in endless streams of data, that ability is becoming priceless. AI can analyze huge amounts of information in seconds, but it still struggles with intuition. It struggles with the leap, the unexpected insight, the weird connection that suddenly changes everything. That's where the ADHD brain shines. They're naturally good at spotting emerging trends, seeing opportunities early, and understanding how separate ideas can combine into something entirely new. A neurotypical brain may follow the map. The ADHD brain notices there's a shortcut through the forest nobody else saw. And in fast-moving industries, the people who see patterns first usually win. The second superpower is hyperfocus on novelty. You know exactly what this feels like. The moment something becomes genuinely interesting, your brain locks in with an intensity that feels almost unreal. Hours disappear, hunger disappears, the outside world disappears. For years, this was treated like a flaw because society expected consistent attention on repetitive tasks, but the AI economy rewards the opposite. New AI tools, models, and platforms are exploding onto the scene every single week. Most people feel overwhelmed trying to keep up, but the ADHD brain thrives in environments filled with novelty and rapid change. While other people hesitate, overthink, or wait for instructions, we dive directly into experimentation. We learn by playing. We learn by obsession. That creates a massive advantage. Because in this new economy, the people who adapt the fastest are often more valuable than the people who simply work the hardest. By the time everyone else understands the tool, the ADHD brain has already discovered 3 unexpected ways to use it. And then there's the biggest advantage of all, creative problem solving and divergent thinking. The ADHD brain was never built for straight lines. It naturally jumps sideways, diagonally, and completely off-road. That sounds chaotic in a classroom, but in innovation, that's where breakthroughs come from. Research consistently shows that people with ADHD often perform better on tasks involving originality and divergent thinking. And that matters because AI is not replacing creativity. It's multiplying the power of creative people. AI can generate ideas endlessly, but it still depends on humans to ask unusual questions, combine strange concepts, and push conversations into unexpected territory. That's why prompt engineering feels almost tailor-made for the ADHD mind. The best prompts rarely come from rigid thinking. They come from curiosity, weird associations, unexpected combinations, the ability to ask, what happens if we connect this with that? That kind of thinking is becoming one of the most valuable skills in the modern world. The same traits that once made people feel distracted, different, or difficult are now becoming fuel for innovation. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs and innovators in the world have openly credited their success to the way their neurodivergent brains work. Take David Neeleman, the founder of multiple airlines including JetBlue. He has publicly described his ADHD as an advantage rather than a disorder. He explains that his brain helps him simplify extremely complex systems and identify solutions that other people fail to notice. But he also understood something important very early on. He did not need to be good at everything. The repetitive administrative work drained him. So instead of forcing himself to operate like everyone else, he built teams around his weaknesses and focused his energy on innovation, vision, and problem solving. That approach helped him reshape an entire industry. So how do people with ADHD actually gain an advantage from AI? The answer is simple. AI is not replacing the ADHD brain, it is removing the friction that has been holding it back. For years, people with ADHD were forced to compete in systems built around consistency, repetition, rigid structure, and routine administrative work. That environment rewarded people who could focus on the same task for long periods without getting mentally exhausted. But AI is beginning to automate many of those exact tasks, and that changes everything. Because once the repetitive and mentally draining work is reduced, the natural strengths of the ADHD brain suddenly become far more valuable. AI helps people with ADHD turn chaotic thoughts into structured action. It can organize ideas, build plans, automate repetitive work, and bridge the gap between imagination and execution. The problem was never a lack of ideas, it was friction. By removing that friction, AI allows ADHD creators, entrepreneurs, and innovators to move faster than ever before. This combination is especially powerful because ADHD minds naturally experiment, explore, and connect unexpected ideas. While most people use AI like a search engine, people with ADHD often push it further, discovering opportunities others miss. In many ways, AI acts like a second brain, organizing thoughts, tracking projects, and reducing mental overload. For years, people with ADHD were told their brains were the problem. But in an AI-driven world that rewards creativity, adaptability, and rapid thinking, the same traits that once felt like weaknesses may become one of the biggest advantages of the future.